ROMEOs.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Lovely to be with you guys as always.
So what are we doing today?
Well,
Why are we here?
why are we here?
Existential.
Well, for the same reason we're always here. Talk amongst ourselves.
Mooch your food.
Well, today, sorry, you were saying?
Mooch your food, your house. But
Existential crisis here, or existential question.
right.
So let's tackle this interesting question of what is a life well lived. We've reached a stage in our lives where, while we continue to look forward, we spend a lot more time looking back than we have in the past. And I imagine that with every passing year, we'll spend more and more time.
I don't remember anything.
You may be blessed.
Like those old,
You could be fortunate.
those old farts that always just talk about, how in their time things were better and they knew better. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
You've already done that.
No, I'm not going to do that.
You've already done
All right, move on. That's history.
All right, well, listen.
Show me the tape.
Aki's not going to launch this conversation. Dominic, why don't you get us going? What is a life well lived?
For me, a life well lived is simple. It's when you're not a burden to your family or to society. That's it.
And you're happy, aren't you? Isn't that a part about a life well lived?
I'm happy because I've never been a burden to society nor my family.
Positive outlook.
So, it doesn't look I'll be like I will be, so so that to me that's all I need.
Okay, interesting. Narayan?
Well, for me, it's really about my kids, and for me, being able to witness their growth from babies up to where they are now and where they're going to go, I think is a joy, and it's really the one main thing that I enjoy the most is just, it doesn't mean that I have day in and day out contact with them or I'm an overbearing parent, but just seeing their progress, seeing how they're growing, seeing the human beings that they've turned into, the influences that they have, the things that they like, the creativity that comes out of them. It just amazes me, and I think I think about how much less fulfilled I would have been had I not had kids. I think maybe that's the best way for me to look at it. That's a huge part of it. It's not the only thing, but I think a huge part of my life well lived at this point is to say that there's 3 wonderful kids that I'm going to leave behind one day, and they're going to move on and move forward and hopefully do good for this earth.
So do you think of it in terms of your contributions to their existence and the lives they're leading, or do you think of it in other terms?
I don't think of it about it in terms of my contribution. It's more about the people that they become and the path that they've taken to be who they are and where they're going from here, and just my fascination with the people that they are and how they turned out. And I think it's great. It's an ongoing story, right?
Of course.
So every day it's different. There's bumps in the road, obviously, with everyone, but it's just to me it's a joy.
So that's great.
Yeah, to your point, Naran, that's the summit. For me, it's about relationships. It's about building lasting, good relationships, mutual respect, and it starts with your family. I mean, to me, that's the summit of relationships. And if you're able to be a good father and be a good family guy, maybe not, that's not the best.
Wait a second, I bet I was your father.
But I think family, being successful with your family, with your relationship, with your partner, with your wife, whatever, and then building relationships, just where there's mutual respect, and if everybody feels like they don't have to put on airs. You can be authentic, you can be yourself, and just be comfortable with who you are and what you have to say and what you stand for.
Well said, Peter Griffin. You guys are making me look bad, I didn't mention their kids,
It's not too late.
No, of course,
Of course.
to me, of course, we all have kids.
It kind of goes without saying.
But Pat, it's your turn.
So, I would have to say that in my mind it begins with health. So when I think about a life well lived, it's hard for me to imagine someone who hasn't been fortunate enough to enjoy relatively good health for most of their existence, reflecting back on life as favorably as, I had the opportunity to do. It doesn't mean that there weren't challenges along the way, but
Ableist.
So I put health at the top of the list. I really like the comment you made about relationships. I would say to me, meaningful relationships. So again, feeling very, very fortunate to have found my life partner at an early enough stage in life that I've had the opportunity and the pleasure of enjoying her company for over 30 years. And I hope that we have many, many more years together. Those meaningful relationships include, the parents I was fortunate enough to have growing up, my brother, my closest friends, people I've met through work-related activities, personal activities. Those all factor in hugely. I also think of having some sense of community, and certainly not to the degree that someone like you has, Aki. I haven't made anywhere near the kind of contributions you have, but to me it was very important to try in some way to make a contribution, at times financial, at times it's through personal involvement activities, and to try and leave this world at some point, hopefully not in the near term, but at some point, ideally better off than I came into it, and if not, certainly no worse than when I came into it. And yes, I mean, you mentioned kids, and obviously when I talk about meaningful relationships, what is more meaningful than having the opportunity to bring people into this world and to try and guide them to the best of your ability, and to try and instill good values in them, and to watching them grow up and hopefully strive towards fulfilling their potential. And the last thing that I would mention is that's been very important to me, and hopefully will continue to be, I'll put under the umbrella of lifelong learning, to never stop questioning and never stop looking to better understand this wonderful and crazy world we live in. It's really fascinating, and I think that too many of us at times take things for granted and don't take the time to reflect on just how fortunate some of us are to have lived the lives we've had.
You know what I find surprising? That none of us mentioned one, well, could be an important item. Maybe I did it directly. Financial success. About a life well lived. That's part of the formula, isn't it? Part of the equation?
I think it's part of the formula in as much as
It enables.
if you don't have sufficient means, your life can be unenjoyable. But I don't think that having ample means equates with having an enjoyable, fulfilling life. And the example I would give are some of the people I've met who are financially or materialistically driven. I don't think are ever happy. Because there's always someone who has more, and they're chasing something, or they seem to be in competition to say, I've accumulated the most assets, I've accumulated the most wealth, the most things. So what? Now, it's true that if you don't have sufficient means, you're going to be subjected to a life of poverty, and that's unenjoyable. But at some point, I think money stops mattering.
Yeah.
That's my view, anyway.
Yeah.
That's why I mentioned those two things, because to me, if you're not a burden, that's all life well lived.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Well, we haven't gotten there yet. We may end up being
Yeah,
burdens.
of course, you know, I'm talking being a burden on your teenager, you know, or young adult. You know, there's a lot of people in their 40s, 30s are a burden to society, to their families.
Yeah.
So
There's one example, and I forget Nicholas. He's the British gentleman, businessman who in the Second World War he took it upon himself from the UK to save Jewish children whose parents were about to be deported, and he moved heaven and earth like an individual, took up this cause all on his own to make sure that these kids got the support, got the documents from the British government so that they can come to the UK, and he saved like hundreds of them, and never wrote a book. I mean, basically was very modest about this. But then, as these people, they gratitude, they told the story about him. He became a celebrity and he was recognized. But so he's now a gentleman, I think, in his 90s. So very very inconspicuous, serious gentleman, had a successful career, and he did this with his life. He saved these hundreds of kids who were going to be deported to the concentration camps.
Mm-hmm.
That's a life well lived. That's a life well lived.
there's like shit.
But we're not in competition. I mean,
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
wait a second. So this is what Pat was talking about. So wait a second. So you're in competition to see who can be more altruistic. So
No, it's not about competition. It's how
But you see,
your conscience. It's your conscience.
I-
Your
I
operating.
think it's more than your conscience. I think it's your beliefs.
Yeah.
It's your beliefs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, and we're all different in that regard. We may have some similarities, and I don't mean the four of us. I mean, if you look at society at large,
Yeah.
we're all individuals. We all have, a belief system, and to the extent that we stay true to our beliefs throughout most of our existence, and apply ourselves accordingly, I think that when the time comes to depart, you probably generally feel good about the life that you've lived.
So let me ask you guys a question, because I kind of asked myself this, and it sounds maybe a little bit morbid, but I don't think it is. I mean, you guys tell me. When I think of if something were to happen to me tomorrow, where I was diagnosed with something, or something terminal or whatever, how would I feel? I feel pretty good. Like I feel, and who knows, maybe if something happened I wouldn't feel this way, but right now if you ask me, I feel at peace with what I've done and how I've lived
And who you are.
and who I am to this point in my life.
Nice.
And
Maybe,
I feel comfortable.
maybe so, but I'd still be fucking pissed off. Well, I mean, wait, there's still,
Get with the program, Dominic.
there's still things to do in life,
Okay, so good. So let's think about that. So you're saying there's still things to do in
Yeah.
life. So okay.
I want to see grandchildren. I want to, there's so many things.
Okay.
Record many more podcasts.
Yeah, that's it. It's limitless.
So I kind of look at it from my perspective, and yeah, the grandkid thing is interesting, and yeah, that's going to be a whole other one.
Because it's our revenge, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So that aside, which I fully agree with you, when it comes to doing things, I don't know. It's like I feel fulfilled in the stuff I've already done, and the things I've done with the friends that I have, and I don't have this huge craving to do more.
But
And again, that's
I agree.
I think you're forgetting the fact that, if you're diagnosed, and God forbid, it's also the burden you're going to be on your family, on your kids. Because, they're going to be impacted.
no. I'll get a Glock.
Yeah, well. Sorry to run it out, shut up. I'd be fucking pissed off.
No,
No, it's hypothetical. The point is, though, how do you take stock of your life? Take stock of your life.
But it's fair for people to have
Right.
different.
Yeah,
views.
exactly.
All I'm suggesting, and I see where Nuran's coming from.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, like, right now, if you just introspectively, you think about your life, you think about who you are, everything that you experience, what thoughts, go through your head? The thoughts that go through my head is, I'm a really privileged person. I really had it good.
So after you think,
Right?
you think you're in front of your doctor's desk and he tells you you've got pancreatic cancer. You just say,
No,
I had a good life.
It's at a higher level. I'm talking about a higher level of that. I'm talking at a higher level.
Okay.
Even if that is the news that you get.
Yeah.
But at least if you look at Look at the road that you've traveled.
I agree,
Let me ask it a different way. What's the difference? Because the way you feel is not going to change a damn thing. So, yeah, pancreatic, you're gone in a year. Yeah. Being pissed off doesn't change anything. That's why.
I'm not going to say that throw things around.
No, but wait a second. You say it doesn't change anything. I agree that it's not going to change the outcome, the ultimate outcome.
Right.
But it does change things.
What does it change?
It changes your mindset. So your mindset in terms of how you accept or not certain news, certain information, how you process it, how you deal with it, how you manage it.
How you process it, yes. Accept it is it's irrelevant. How you accept it.
No, I agree with you that it's irrelevant in terms of the outcome. It's very relevant in terms of how you're going to spend whatever amount of time you have left on this earth.
Okay, so we're agreeing. Excessive processing.
Got it. It's the equivalent of giving somebody the finger that cuts you off. It's not going to change anything. It makes you feel better. Same thing, you know? No, I don't know. I applaud you for having that kind of attitude. I would be happy.
I wouldn't say I'd be happy.
No.
It's just I'd be accepting of it.
I don't think too many people would be happy hearing that news. But I think what's interesting is how we react to that news, and perhaps at different stages of life. I know for myself, before the age of 35, I got news that was of the bad variety, and I was told that I may not have another 4.5 months. Right? I was under 35. I wasn't angry. I wasn't pissed off. I didn't spend a moment really thinking about why me. I focused all my energies on trying to deal with the situation. First of all, recognizing that there were things that I could do to put the odds in my favor. And then there were a number of things that were completely out of my hands that I was going to rely on other people to do to try and get me to a better place. If I were to receive similar news today, there are important differences, right? The most probably glaring of which is the fact that at the time, I had 2 kids under the age of 3 and a third on the way. Today, I have grown children. They're all adults.
Yeah.
So I'd still love to be here for a number of years and to watch them continue to evolve and grow and become whoever it is they're going to be. But my role vis-a-vis those children is not going to be the same as it was, almost 30 years ago.
Exactly.
But I still have a lust for life. I still want to do things with my wife and my friends, and I still want to be here.
Exactly.
Right?
That wasn't the question, though. Do you still? Of course, we all want to be here. No one wants to be dead.
Well,
it's just, are we at peace?
Some people don't want to be here.
Well, yeah, okay, but that in our age,
I guess I'm not conveying the point clearly, which is, I too feel very privileged. I feel I've had a fantastic life, but I'm not done.
Okay, I agree.
So one of the reasons I don't want to go just yet is that I feel that there's so much more that I can do, that I should do, and hopefully will do, that is going to make me feel an even greater sense of happiness and gratification than I feel today. And it's ample today. I feel like I've accomplished so much. And when I say accomplished, I don't mean here's the checklist, done, 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 done. I mean in terms of life experiences.
Core ones. Yeah.
Right? And being true to my values and my beliefs and feeling that, all the comments I made earlier about what is meaningful to me, I've been true to that. But there's so much more.
I guess there's also
so much more.
There's a difference between the initial reaction. Now you're going to react after.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking mostly like, on the spot. I would be happy. I mean, but then, like Pat said, he did what he had to do to put all the odds on his side. We would do the same.
Yeah, ultimately it's out of our hands, right?
So exactly, and I guess the point I'm trying to make in all of this is, the feeling that you have at that point kind of tells you whether you feel like you've had a good life or a good existence at that point. I mean, I feel at peace at a certain point to say that, yeah, I mean, and to a degree, I think we all feel this way in the sense that we all feel privileged and glad that we've gotten to where we are. I think we would all feel that a little bit. What it's not a question of do I want to live longer. Of course, we all want to experience more and do more. But if life was cut short and you still feel happy with the life that you've lived, it kind of says something about the life that you lived, right? And I think we all kind of agreed that we would be at least partially at peace with the fact that, okay, well, yeah, we want to do more, but hey, we did, we're okay. We did some good stuff. It's shitty news, but I don't want to get too depressing here, but
yeah, and look, I made the comment at the opening, right? We're at a stage in our lives where we're starting to spend more time looking back.
Yeah.
But I also made the point we're at a stage in our lives where we're still looking forward, right? So I imagine if we have this conversation again in 20 years' time, the perspective will have changed slightly. That's all I'm suggesting, right? I feel that your late 50s, early 60s, mid 60s, it's still a little early for me not to think about what is a life well lived when you reach the stage of your early 60s, but what is a life well lived, period. I think it's a little early to be addressing that. So I would say so far so good.
Here's 20 more, 30 more, 40 more.
Hey,
But Pat,
as long as they're in good health.
Yeah.
to that point, what item each one of you shove on your list that is number one that you'd like to see or accomplish still?
Nothing special in my case.
No?
No, I mean, I'd like to see grandchildren.
Okay, there you go. That's mine.
That's yours?
I
Okay.
want to meet my
But
grandchildren.
that's not our accomplishment.
Well, there is.
It's not. It's not. No, because to me, that's now you're starting to impose, if you will, on your children what you want. So for me, the decision as to whether or not my kids should have kids of their own isn't my decision to make. It's their decision. If they feel that their lives will be better without children, I didn't feel that way, but they have every right to feel that
No,
way.
but Pat, no, it's not. I'm not approaching it that way. It's not. I'm not expecting. I'm not telling my kids this is your obligation. I'm just saying, the family experience that we got to enjoy. I'd like to be able to see it go to the next generation and see my grandchildren. That's all. That's where I would be coming from. We have, one of our most successful. The success of our lives has been, we all agree, our families. So these kids that we're that we love so much and we're so proud of, now that they're adults, and for them to be able to have the same experience that we had as parents and have lived that magic that we lived, that's what I'm happy about, and to be able to experience that.
Yeah, that's where I look at it differently because, again, just because we wanted certain things out of our lives doesn't mean that they want the same thing.
He's not forcing you.
No,
I'm not saying
aspirational. He's hoping that.
Oh, true, like,
But it's to me, it's yeah. I just look at
And when they hear this podcast, they're gonna go get busy and give you some grandchildren. That's all.
I love this podcast.
Or say, Dad. We need to talk.
Yeah, every time you make a comment about the kids, they quote you, Pat. My kids quote you.
So screw that. You screw.
You don't know how. You do not know how.
So I have a message. I have a message for Aki's kids.
Yeah.
I love your dad. He's a great guy. Stop giving him a hard time.
Get cracking, kids.
But yeah. Go ahead.
I was just trying to figure out what would be my thing that I want to do. And again, the reason why I feel at peace with stuff is because I feel like I've done some good stuff. I've enjoyed my life. I'm still enjoying my life, and yeah, it's all good. I mean, there's no one thing I want to do. I mean, I'm traveling. I'll keep traveling. I'll go places. I'll meet friends. I enjoy my time with people I like to be around, and it doesn't have to be doing anything. I don't need to be doing anything. Doing what we're doing here, just talking, is an enjoyable evening for me. doing this with other friend groups when we meet in different places, different cities and stuff. That's highly enjoyable to me. Just going someplace, having a drink, just sitting together, even if we don't drink or eat or whatever, it doesn't matter. Just being in front of people that you have.
It's a friendship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've been blessed with some fantastic friends in my life. Maybe 2 handfuls, maximum, not even, that I could say are super close. And for me, that is a fulfilling thing. And I don't know, beyond that, there's nothing I can think of that pops to mind that says, no, I got to do this, because I really don't have to do it.
Do you guys think we're the exception? I mean, do most people really think the way we do? Are most people happy with their lives?
I don't know. That's...
I think I'm wondering.
In the comments section, we're going to have...
I think we're the exception. I think there's...
Well, I don't think we're...
There's not too many people like they would sit around a table like this and pronounce the things that we were just pronouncing in terms of, so happy with how our life has treated us and we feel privileged.
Well, shit has happened. I mean, I was divorced.
Well, of course.
Everyone's had
Of
ups and downs in their lives, right?
But still, I mean, at the end of the day, the balance sheet, we're very happy.
Yeah, I forget everything, so it's good.
That's very good. That's good to know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'll ask you for a loan. And
I have the memory of a goldfish.
Forget on a balance sheet there's liabilities.
Yeah. But again, I don't think too many people could sit in a room like this and probably say the same things that we're saying. I don't think so.
Well, not everybody.
What do you base that on?
Yeah.
Just a feeling that most people are, they're just they choose the wrong things to be upset about.
But not everybody has the same standards or demands for themselves.
Yeah, but it's not just that. I don't know. It's not just, your standards.
So here's an idea. I don't know how large an audience we're going to reach with this podcast.
Right.
But I'd love to hear people's thoughts on that.
I would too.
All right? Let us know.
I don't
Tell
give
us.
a fuck what they think.
You may not, but
Well,
Ash does.
yeah, of course.
I do. Dominic?
Oh, of course.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's not kidding.
Yeah, I really don't give a fuck.
Oh, look, I think everybody has its own meaning for life well spent. So I think probably the majority of people will say, yeah, I've had a pretty decent life. I don't think the majority will be the opposite.
I don't know. I mean,
Look, I mean, every again, we can contemplate so many different scenarios under which people come into this world. So they're born into a family. They may be unfortunate from the get-go. They could be born into a family of drunks or violent individuals, or that's not putting the odds overwhelmingly in their favor as far as living a full, enjoyable life. And unfortunately, history tends to repeat itself. So whatever behaviors you've observed as a young child, you will probably, in spite of yourself, repeat them as you get older and get into relationships and so on. So yeah, there are a number of people in this world who are born into less than privileged circumstances and who have a horrible time of it from the get-go. And the exceptional ones find a way through, right? But the majority won't.
yeah. And
I'd like to think that most people who come from similar backgrounds to ours, who are truly privileged and fortunate in terms of when they were born, where they were born, who they were born, the family they were born into, and so on and so forth, would hopefully have a similar outlook to ours.
yeah. And I'm sure we're going to get some pushback from some listeners who will point out, look at this, 4 white guys, already retired, life is good. Of course life is going to be good for you guys, right? There's going to be some resentment as well. A little bit to your point. There's people that feel that they've been done hard by and life has not been kind to them. And they look at us and they see us as being, this privileged ivory tower set.
Well, they're not entirely wrong.
Hang on. Nobody. So see, this is the problem with humans, right? You're going to be making judgment or passing judgment on people when you don't know a fucking thing about them and what they went through. And this is the part of humanity that I hate. Is you get these people, oh, look at these 4 guys. You don't know a fucking thing about any of us. You don't know what we've gone through. You don't know what. I mean, it's just it's garbage. It's a garbage emotion. It's a garbage human being that's going to be thinking that way. And there's a lot of them. And fuck all of them, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. At the same time as you've just expressed an opinion, that's all we do here is express our opinions. Other people are entitled to their opinions.
Exactly.
Live and let live.
And hopefully, here's a teaching moment. Your statement here. I mean, that's
not going to teach anyone.
Well, it should. No, but you're bang on in terms of. So let's stop with this judging.
Yeah. Well.
Let me tell you, a lot of people still don't consider that as being white. So.
Okay.
Well. Yeah. Good luck arguing that.
Well,
I'm not Sicilian.
and Greek maybe half of that.
Well, let's start to get going down the gene pool here. Let's just run out the gene pool, right?
Come on, guys.
Yeah. So look, in terms of moving ahead, whatever awaits us. The point is that up to now, it's been a good ride.
Yeah. It's been a great ride.
It's been a great ride.
Hallelujah.
So whatever, and whatever, we are in a better position to deal with whatever misfortune might come our way. We don't wish that, but I just, that's where it starts from. It starts with how you see yourself, and if you're really happy in your own skin, you're in a better position to be able to get over the hurdles that life puts up.
Yeah, and your kids are going to be taking care of you, is what you told us.
Back to the diapers, right? Back to the diapers.
Yeah, okay.
No, Nuran, absolutely. Nuran, you absolutely now have opened this door, and it's a minefield. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm happy that I could help your family come to terms with the elder abuse that they're going to be providing you with in your older.
Here we go. Just went off the rails. It just went off the rails.
No. We're talking here about a life well lived, and I think we all agree that the four of us are supremely fortunate to have lived, at least in our thoughts, in our minds, in our minds, a life so far so good, and hopefully we're all going to enjoy and do more of the same for the next X number of years, and hopefully that's a nice large number.
And that's the point, really, is that only you're equipped to assess whether you have lived the life that makes you reflect positively to this point in time, or to whatever point in time.
It just brings to my mind, I'm sorry, but doesn't expectations, or don't expectations come into this? So if you had high expectations of your life and you didn't quite reach where you thought you wanted to be.
Well, that was Dominic's point earlier.
Right? Was it? Because I forgot. Senior moment, I'm sorry.
No, but it bears bringing out again. Go ahead.
I forgot what I was saying.
So you have expectations and standards you were talking about.
If your expectations are too high and you don't end up meeting those expectations, is that a problem of a life not well lived, or your expectations having been too high at the beginning?
That's the wrong question to ask.
So what's the right question?
It's not about standards and expectations. It's about how you feel about what you've accomplished and what you've built so far.
But
maybe you haven't. You didn't wanted to be a millionaire. You wanted to be the best best engineer in the world, and you're not the best engineer in the world. But are you? But I mean, have you built things? Have you built good relationships? Are you? Yes, I am talking to you. So are you? I mean, you answered it earlier. You started off this conversation by indicating that yes, you answered yes to all those questions.
Yeah, but none of what you said is important to me. But putting that aside, I think the argument is flawed a little bit, because if you do set a high expectation and you don't reach it, then it's going to affect your.
I disagree. I don't think
so. I'm gonna put a different spin on it.
Go for it.
I think it really starts with your belief system.
Okay.
Beliefs and values. So that's the first point of reference.
Okay.
Then I would talk in terms of life experiences. And some of those experiences can be looked at as accomplishments, others not. But they're all that's what comprise your lifelong experiences.
Okay.
And so when you look at your life experiences, in relation to your core values and beliefs, how well do they correspond?
Exactly.
And if they correspond, if there's a high positive correlation, then I think you're more apt to say, I feel like that was a life well lived. If, on the other hand,
You're talking about morality now.
no, I'm not talking about morality. Just, I mean, core.
Well, a belief system is based on what? Your morality, your value set, your
Yeah,
value
absolutely.
system.
But morality, if you will, is one component of it,
Okay.
right? And so, I think you have to look at it as a whole. Obviously, there are individual components, but look at it as a whole, just like you look at your life experiences holistically.
Mhm.
And all of us have had some fantastic, hopefully, some great, some and some not so great experiences in life,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
But when you look at them holistically, how would you weigh them? And I think for the four of us, they're overwhelmingly on the positive side. It doesn't mean that we haven't had our issues. Each one of us can mention many things that have happened in our lifetime that, was not very enjoyable. In fact, quite to the contrary.
Yeah, for sure.
But all in all, man, it's been a hell of a ride.
Yeah.
Right? So I look at it more in terms of experiences.
Okay.
And experiences in exactly what you said. Experiences in sync with your values.
So what are we going to do for the next 20 years, guys?
Well, I'm not going to say whatever we want, but pretty much. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And this is what life affords everyone. Obviously, the more you get on in years without thinking about this, the less well equipped you are to deal with it.
Yeah.
But the good news for us is that we still have some runway left. And I can't think of too many things that we may want to do individually and collectively that are out of reach. I don't. If we really want to have those experiences, we probably can. And that's great.
Yeah, it's a good place to be in life. We're fortunate.
Very.
So,
Any other thoughts, guys?
No, but I do agree with Nora, though. Your expectations will have an impact.
You're back to that.
And how you assess your life. You do. That's why some people can handle it. At some point.
That's why that's not the right metric.
Yeah,
well, that's according to you.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's how you feel.
exactly.
Not everyone feels that way. That's
Yeah.
the problem. I think that's your point, right?
Yeah, it's exactly.
Like family, friendship, respect, good health.
Yeah, but
That's not built around expectations.
no, but everybody assesses a different
Yeah.
weight to each one.
Well, no, and I disagree with you. I think that there's an order to things.
Yeah.
So fundamentally, it starts with your core values, your beliefs. Clearly, in life, you should be setting objectives for yourself. You should be setting goals and objectives for yourself.
Not everyone does that.
I didn't say everyone does. I said you should.
You should.
And then you should plan accordingly.
Here comes the anarchist.
No, but it's right. You plan accordingly. You execute. You course correct, so that when all is said and done, you say, you know what? Most of the things that I set out to accomplish, your so-called expectations, I've got outcomes that correlate pretty well with those, as opposed to going through life hoping, wishing, wanting, and not doing a damn thing about it. Do you want to be a passenger, or do you want to drive the bus?
I want to be a driver.
Or do you want to be in front of the bus?
Well,
You're either in the bus or in front of the bus.
Well, there is an in between.
Yeah.
well, you could ask yourself, well, what's that actor's name there, Mark? Jeez.
Robin Williams.
Robin
Yeah.
Williams.
Before he took his life, if you had asked him, did you live a good life? What would he have answered?
Like most people who have mental health issues,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no. Those people, unfortunately, are incapable of achieving and sustaining a level of happiness.
Yeah.
Right? They have demons. It's very sad.
And that's 20% of the population if you look at statistics.
20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, based on current statistics and whoever's diagnosing those people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That's
And
unfortunately very
Then when we
true.
look at Robin Williams, we think, before, that he had a great life.
Well, no. Wait a second. So, in the same way as Nurin was suggesting moments ago, that people have no clue what's really going on.
I
Yeah.
agree.
You see an actor, a comedian, right, accomplished in the arts. We really know nothing about this man. Nothing.
True.
I mean, the pressure. Just to get, follow up on that example. I respect that actors, at that level, the pressure that's on, especially comedians. I can understand why comedians lose it
Yeah.
because expectation is just impossible. You have to be on all the time. Or you feel like you have to be on all the time. You have to be witty. You have to be funny. You have to make a crowd laugh. You can't. And I can understand why.
Well, you've done a good job of it.
But he wasn't trying.
Thank you.
You had a plan, damn it.
So, that certainly adds to my happiness.
There you go.
It's pronounced happiness.
It certainly reaches the world it is.
Selective syllables again, huh?
All right, guys, before we get completely sidetracked, thanks for the conversation.
Thank you, guys.
Always a blast.
Congratulations, guys. Good
And
conversation.
for those who joined us, thanks for doing so. Hope you'll do it again.
And we want to hear from you.
And we'll see you all very soon.
Yeah. See you next week.
Ciao.
Take care.
Bye, guys. Night, Romeos.